Hi everyone, welcome to Dustin the Blind Minnesotan. Today I'm going to talk about my life and when I lived in downtown Minneapolis, where I shopped, where I hung out, and all that stuff. So then if you're disabled and you're planning to move to downtown Minneapolis or South Minneapolis, you kind of know where to shop, where to do all that stuff because I learned it because, I don't have a car, so I can't just walk to my underground parking spot, hop in a car, and drive anywhere I want. So, and I just want to let you guys know, I do have a YouTube channel called Dustin the Blind Minnesotan. And my YouTube channel and my podcasts, they're two different things, but the same thing at the same time. Because what happens is all my YouTube videos I make, all my YouTube shorts I make and stuff, I put on YouTube. And then I make this podcast. And then what I do is Spotify for podcasters has a setting where you can submit your RSS feed to YouTube. So when I put a podcast episode on my Spotify for Podcasters account, it sends the episode to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Spotify app, and it sends it to YouTube, where YouTube puts it on my YouTube account, and then you guys can listen to the podcast episode right on YouTube as an audio file. So my YouTube channel has the shorts I make, it has the videos I make, and it has the podcast episodes. So if you want to see everything of mine in one spot, just go to Dustin the Blind Minnesotan on YouTube and subscribe to me there and turn on the bell notifications. So every time I release a podcast episode, a video, or YouTube short, you will get a notification because all my YouTube shorts show you around the Minneapolis area. And I'm slowly making my way into St. Paul, the St. Paul area. And then you can go to my YouTube shorts and you guys can see different Minneapolis neighborhoods. And you guys can figure out what neighborhood of Minneapolis, and in the future I'll be working in St. Paul, do you like the best? So just go check out my YouTube channel, Dustin the Blind Minnesotan, and because my podcast is named after my YouTube channel. So please go and check it out. So when I lived in downtown Minneapolis, I lived in a building called the LaSalle Plaza. And the LaSalle Plaza has an apartment complex attached to it called the LaSalle Apartments. So before I moved to downtown, I lived in Maple Grove with my mom and dad. I just got done graduating from Hennepin Technical College in Brooklyn Park with my IT support degree. And I graduated during the wrong time because people in the IT industry were getting laid off left to right. And the people who were being laid off then took the jobs that were not laying people off. So when I was going to interviews at all these IT companies, they kept on turning me down because they were hiring the people let go from Apple, Microsoft, Google, instead of hiring new people out of school like me. So that's when I got the job at the Maple Grove Nordstrom Rack. I worked there about 6 months, and then after 6 months, this is the time of the George Floyd stuff, I got promoted to work at the store in downtown Minneapolis. And at the time, downtown Minneapolis was their most high-end store of the Nordstrom Rack company in Minnesota. Nordstrom Rack is the lower class version of Nordstrom. So I said, sure. So I spent a month looking at apartments, figuring out where I want to live, what neighborhood I want to live. I went to every neighborhood in Minneapolis. I took my time, and I ended up choosing LaSalle apartments that are attached to the LaSalle Plaza. And I could afford them. There were a studio apartment that's 550 square feet was $950 a month. It was expensive, but at least I could afford it. And at this point, I was a disabled man working full time. So I could easily afford, because I was bringing home anywhere between $1,200 to $1,500 a month. So I could easily afford this apartment on my minimum wage job. So I moved to downtown. I moved all my stuff in my apartment. And I started at the Nordstrom Rack in downtown Minneapolis when the bigwigs from Chicago closed down the store. I was kind of screwed because I just signed a 12-month lease and I didn't know what to do. So then, I was able to find a job quickly at the Mall of America. Then I worked there until my lease ended. And I took the D bus that goes from Brooklyn Center through North Minneapolis, through downtown Minneapolis, through South Minneapolis, through Richfield, into Bloomington, to the Mall of America. I would take the D bus, or I would take the light rail train to get to work. And it was interesting working at the Mall of America. I really liked some parts of the job, like helping the Mall of America sell rental tickets, for the strollers, the wheelchairs, the scooters, the shopping carts, selling Nickelodeon Universe tickets. I didn't mind that part of the job, because it was just pretty much like retail, like I did any other job in my life. But the negative about the Mall of America I didn't like was selling the food and stuff in the theme park. Because, I hate dealing with food, because with food, you always have to wash your hands. You always have to wear a hairnet. You always have to keep switching out gloves. The food industry is, in my opinion, it's a very, I don't enjoy it, because I'm one of those people, I forget the sanitary rules. And the next thing you know, I'm cross-contaminating food and all that stuff. And it just puts me in legal trouble when I work with food, because I forget I'm making food for strangers, and some people are not like me. Not everyone's like me. So the issue is, when I was at the Mall of America, I kept on having to remind myself, okay, after each person you make each person's meal, you technically have to switch gloves. But definitely when you're done with the mini donuts and then the popcorn, between the mini donuts and the popcorn, you're supposed to switch gloves. But sometimes I'm so busy and the line's going around the block in Nickelodeon Universe, sometimes I forget, and then I feel bad after the line's down. Because then I finally remember, oh yeah, I should have done this or that. So, I didn't like the food part of I did not like, because Mall of America has a theme park in it. So some days they'll put guest services to help the foods department in the theme park. When our department was slow. And I'm going to say the only thing I really hated about my job at the Mall of America was selling the food in the theme park, because I just don't like how tight you get it. I get it. If you're allergic to something, you don't want it being cross-contaminated into the food that you did order. But the issue is, if you don't tell me, someone like me, that you're allergic to something, we're not as careful. When I had customers come up to me and say, hey, I'm allergic to this, I would actually slow down and take my time, and then it's easier for me to to remember to change the gloves and stuff, because this person's allergic to this part of this food place, but not this part that they're ordering. So I can't, so that's when I would actually get to remind myself, slow down, when people tell me, hey, I have an allergy to this, as I'm making their food. But I just didn't like the food part in Nickelodeon Universe. But the other parts I did, like selling toys out of the Nick store, and all that stuff, I didn't mind doing. And the Mall of America was a great experience. The only thing I didn't like about another thing about the Mall of America was because I took public transit. So the D line and the Blue Line train have a lot of homeless people that sleep on those two lines. Because a lot of them, they'll hop on downtown Minneapolis, take it to the Mall of America, and then, use our bathrooms and stuff, and then take it back to downtown. But the issue is sometimes you would have to kick those people out because they're causing problems. And the issue is now when you're taking the bus back home, you're on the same bus or the same train with the people as you kicked out. So then it would cause problems on my way home from work. But if I lived in downtown Minneapolis and I worked at the Mall of America and I could drive like everyone else, I wouldn't have those problems. Because the people that I worked with that lived in downtown that worked at the Mall of America, they did not take public transportation. They just hopped in their car, drove to the highway, hopped in the highway, drove to work, parked at the employee parking spot at the mall, and then went home, hopped in their car, drove back home, and took the highway. Because a lot of my coworkers at the Mall of America, they don't take public transportation, they drive, just like 95% of America, because they're not disabled and they're normal. They never ran into the same troubles that I did, me taking public transportation to work and home. So when I worked at the mall. And then the hard part was I would be wearing my Mall of America coat and jerseys, definitely, because it's 75 degrees out. You don't want to wear another layer coat on top. And it'll look weird you carrying another bag with you on the train, because people are suspicious when you carry lots of bags onto the train. So I'd be wearing my Mall of America coat and clothes and stuff while I'm on the train or on the D-bus. And then I would have people coming up to me and asking me questions about the mall before I even get to the mall. And then I'm not being paid to deal with those clients because I'm not clocked in at work. So, and then some, when it got really bad, more towards this, when it got really bad, I started just wearing regular clothes on the train and the bus. And then when I got to the Mall of America, I would change in our employee locker room into the mall clothes. So then, people wouldn't pester me on the bus and the train. And then the funny part is, because a lot of times I worked at the information desk at the east entrance, the everyday people, sometimes when the mall closed and everyone left and I hopped on the bus to go home, I would be on the bus with the customers that I helped that day. And next thing you know, on my way home to downtown, because some of the customers lived in South Minneapolis or downtown or Brooklyn Center. So then, on my way home, I have to be nice and social now and talk about, how their day at the mall was, and did I give them good advice? And then I felt like I'm promoting the mall, even when I'm not getting paid at the mall. So if I actually could drive, like my coworkers, hop in a car and drive, I wouldn't even ran into some of our clients on the bus. So then, I would have not had to answer people's questions about the mall or talk to our customers about the mall on my way home. So I always felt like when I wasn't getting paid clocked in at work, I was still headspace at work until I'm physically in downtown, get off the D bus or the train, and can go hide in my apartment. And then, it was a 45-minute one way and in the other. I didn't care about the 45 minutes one way or another. I hated, though, when it took me 45 minutes just to get to work, and then you have the homeless people who cause problems on the train in the D bus, And because they're causing problems on the train, train's now delayed. Or when they're causing problems on the D bus is now delayed. And now that because they're delayed, now it's going to make me late for work, or it's now going to take me longer to get to work. So I'm one of those people, the longest I can go home and back without getting irritated every day is about an hour and a half. Once it's going beyond that, I go nuts. I go psycho in my head. So sometimes I'll be exhausted because of the train or the bus before I even get to the mall. So that's what I kind of did for money. I kind of worked at the mall until my lease ran out because, I was sick. I got burnt out, because of the public transportation getting to work and the people on it. But if I drove to work, working at the Mall America would have been a good place. I'm going to be completely honest with you. If you drive, working at a mall for an entry-level job, working at the Mall of America is a good job. And also, so when I lived in downtown Minneapolis, the part that irritated me was I didn't think that this would irritate me is I grew up in the suburbs, right? So I thought I could live with the mom and pop bodegas. Bodegas are mom and pop grocery stores, by the way. I thought I could live with just going to bodegas, mom and pop grocery stores. Because in downtown Minneapolis, there's not a lot of space for big box grocery stores like Cubs, Walmart, Target, whatever. And so when I chose to live next to Target headquarters in downtown Minneapolis, I thought cool, that's cool because the Target headquarters has a Target in it. So I thought, cool, at least I live next to a Target. But the issue is that Target gets swamped. Before I could, even on my days off, I needed to go grocery shopping, right? That Target had a freaking line before the store opened going around the store next to the Target headquarters. A line going around the whole store because the issue is the mom and pop grocery stores / bodegas in South Minneapolis and North Minneapolis, they sell a lot of chips, pizza rolls, and they don't sell a lot of healthy foods. So a lot of people, if they want healthy foods and you live in South or North Minneapolis, you have two choices. You can bus to the suburbs or you can bus to downtown and get your food in downtown. But the issue is the other grocery stores in downtown Minneapolis are Lunds and Barley's, Whole Foods, and Trader Joe's. And they're high-end grocery stores, and they don't have everything that someone needs. I know at Whole Foods you can get tomatoes and produce and that stuff. But the issue is if you want meatballs, you can get meatballs at Whole Foods, but they're not going to be cheap. They're going to be high-end meatballs because they're organic and they're raised in the field. The cows are not emotionally abused. But I'm sorry, when your minimum wage, you don't want to pay $10 for meatballs. You want to pay $2 for meatballs and get the lab grown and get the abused cow meatballs that cost $2 and that can feed you for a week instead of just the $10 Whole Foods meatballs that can only feed you for 2 days. So Target was the cheapest grocery store in town, in South and North Minneapolis and downtown. And that Target was on Nicollet Mall. In Nicollet Mall, all the buses in Minnesota, in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area, go to Nicollet Mall. So the Target on Nicollet Mall is also the easiest to get. And I knew when I moved between Hennepin Avenue and Nicollet Mall in downtown that there's going to be a lot of people, right? Because you're in the biggest city on the west part of Minnesota. And so I get it that I was going to have a lot of people, right, in my area. But so what happens is, because there were so many people waiting for that Target to open. And right when Target opened, if you were not in front of the line, all the blueberries, strawberries, canned goods, cereal, 95% of it would have been cleared out. So then after the line disappears, you when I like to go in, because I'm not fighting people over cereal. I'm sorry to say. I'd rather eat oatmeal than fight people over cereal. So by the time I went in after the line, because I'm not standing an hour in line an hour before Target opens. No, thank you. So then, I would go in after, and the store would look like a freaking war zone. Even the clothes section looked like a war zone, because in South Minneapolis and North Minneapolis, there's not a lot of places for you to buy clothes. So you would have to go to downtown Target, or you have to go bus out to the suburbs. So a lot of people, if you think, why should I take a 45-minute bus ride to the suburbs when I can take a 10-minute bus ride to downtown Minneapolis and just buy everything at Target? So that store would be so cleared out that I was just at the point where I just went to Lunds and Barley's, Whole Foods, or Trader Joe's. So I ended up buying this thing called the utility cart. So it's pretty much taking a shopping basket from Walmart and making it putting on steroids. So it literally looks like a shopping basket from Walmart that's big, that's as big as a utility cart. And then I bought I bought a little blanket for it and all that stuff. And what I did was with my utility cart, I would take it and I would carry my utility cart to Whole Foods, Lunds and Barley's, or Trader Joe's. And when I'm shopping, I would load my food up in my utility cart. And my rule is, if it can't fit in the utility cart, I don't bring it home that week. So then, I would do my grocery shopping, load it up in my utility cart as I'm shopping, go to the cash register, pay, and then I'll reload it up in my utility cart. And I'm going to tell you, I paid about $75 for my utility cart. And I bought the Amazon Basics brand because, it was the cheapest. The quality wasn't the best. The shop, because the more you're willing to shop on a utility cart, the more features and the better made it's going to be. But even when I bought the cheapest utility cart, it just made a big difference on how my shopping went. So I would go to Whole Foods for the breads, in the desserts. I would go to Lunds and Barley's for the produce, like the vegetables and stuff, because they were cheapest there. But Lunds and Barley's only sells organic stuff. So I couldn't find SpaghettiOs there. I couldn't find fruit cocktail there because fruit cocktail isn't natural. So then I couldn't find that stuff at Lunds. So I would buy my vegetables and all that at Lunds and Barley's. And then my milk at Lunds and Barley's, because Lunds and Barley's milk was cheaper than Whole Foods milk. So then I would buy my milk at Lunds and Barley's and all that kind of stuff. And then after that, I would walk back to my house, drop off those groceries, and then I would walk to Trader Joe's, and then I would get my SpaghettiOs, my ravioli, and all that, and all my canned goods from Trader Joe's. And then I would bus to the Cubs on Lake Street in South Minneapolis to get my fruit cocktail, and I would go there to get my blueberry yogurt, because it's hard to find places that sell blueberry yogurt. And in Minnesota, Hy-Vee and Cub Foods mostly has blueberry yogurt. They don't have a lot of choices, but they at least have blueberry yogurt. And I love blueberry yogurt. So then I would I would take the 7 bus that goes from downtown Minneapolis to the Cub Foods on Lake Street. And then I would go down there, buy my fruit cocktail and my blueberry yogurt. And I'll bring my utility cart, and I would hoard. I would go there and I would fill up my whole utility cart with cans of SpaghettiOs and fruit cocktail, because when I was working at the Mall of America, I would work 7 days straight, and they'll give me 1 day off. And then I would work 10 to 12 days straight, and then I would get a day off. So and I had to work that way to make money to pay my bills and to pay my rent. So, and to pay for all everything I needed. So then, by the time I got through, and because I can't drive, it takes me about half an hour just to get to the store. And because I can't drive and get there in 10 minutes, when I went grocery shopping at these stores, I would make sure that I got enough to last me like all my work days until my next break. So, and then on that day off, I would go shopping, and then fill up my cart. And then some day, the weeks I got 2 or 3 days off in a row, they called that my weekend. But technically it wasn't a weekend. It was like on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, or it was a Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. We never got the weekends off, because that was when the Mall of America needed us the most, because that's when we're most busy. Most of our days off were during the week. So, because when you work in a tourist industry, the Mall of America is considered tourist industry. Most times you never have a life on the weekends. And at first it was kind of horrible, because my siblings work Monday through Friday jobs, and they only have the weekends off. Well, I would work during the weekends, and I would have the week off. So I never really got to spend time with them, because we had 2 different working schedules. And then, because I worked at the Mall of America, I would have to work holidays like Easter, Thanksgiving, and all that stuff, because the theme park in the Mall of America is still open, while my brothers got those days off. So I couldn't even go to some holidays because I had to work. But because someone needs to keep the Mall of America running so they can make millions of dollars in profit, So the Mall of America had some cons when I was going there, but when I had 2 or 3 days off, I would call that my exploration days, because I would do my shopping and stuff one day. And then the second day, I would go through my bills, go through my accounts, try to meet up with a friend, because it was hard for me to meet up with my friends, because most of my friends work Monday through Friday jobs. So then I would use the second day or the third day to meet up with my friend. So then, I actually don't lose them all because I can't see them, So then, and then the second or third day, whatever depends around my friend day, I would go call my tour Minneapolis day. So I would hop on a bus, or I would walk, and I would go into different neighborhoods and explore the city of Minneapolis. I would go into all these different neighborhoods, and I really, really liked those days, because I'm paying $9.50 a month for convenience. If I moved to South Minneapolis, or I moved to North Minneapolis, I would be paying $7.50 a month for my living situation, because my place was so small and my unit was so basic. If I moved to South or North Minneapolis, I could got the same thing for $7.50 a month. So, and then I would prefer to move to South Minneapolis, and I would have been closer to work. Even if I moved to South Minneapolis, I would have been closer to Mall of America, and I would have been paying cheaper rent. But then I'm paying $9.50. I'm paying 75% of my income to live here because of the convenience. I'm going to go explore what I'm paying for. So then, I went down Nicollet Avenue, Nicollet Mall becomes Nicollet Avenue, and it leaves downtown and goes through south central Minneapolis. And then it just keeps going, all the way until all the way through Richfield, and it ends in Bloomington when it smacks into American Boulevard. Because the whole point of Nicollet Avenue, if you have a car, is to take you from downtown Minneapolis to American Boulevard in Bloomington, so then you can get to your nice suburban home in Bloomington. So then I would walk down that road, and Nicollet Avenue has a lot of mom and pop shops, like between downtown Minneapolis and Richfield. But once you hit Richfield, it becomes from a lot of mom and pop shops into big corporate stores, because the time Minneapolis was built between downtown and Richfield and central South Minneapolis, that during that time when that area was built, they didn't have stores like Super Walmart. They didn't have stores like Super Target. They didn't have stores like Home Depot or Lowe's that needed a lot of space. So back then, there was a lot of mom and pop stores. So the storefronts there are so small that they can't fit a major store. But by the time they started building along Nicollet Avenue in Richfield, by the time they started building there, Super Walmart, Lowe's, Super Target, Home Depot, Menards existed. So when they were building neighborhoods along Nicollet Avenue in Richfield, they counted for having big box stores. So then a lot of big box stores were built in Richfield along Nicollet Avenue, and then Bloomington became a bunch of single family homes on where the Nicollet Mall or the Nicollet Avenue road goes into. But once you hit American Boulevard and you go east, you hit the Mall of America if you go 15 minutes east. And then if you go 15 minutes west, you hit the Southdale Mall in Edina. So Bloomington, you can go shopping in Richfield along Nicollet Avenue, or you can go shopping at the Mall of America that's in East Bloomington, or you can drive west and go 15 minutes west and go to Southdale in Edina. So I would walk down that road, or I would take the 18 bus down that road when I lived in downtown, and I would go shopping at all the mom and pop businesses between downtown Minneapolis and Richfield. And I would shop at the mom and pop businesses. I would eat there. The hard part about Nicollet Avenue is there's not a lot of parking on that road. So what a lot of people do is behind Nicollet Avenue, there's a bunch of single family homes. So a lot of people, what they would do is they would go and they'll park in the single family housing development that's built around Nicollet Avenue, and then they will go shopping on Nicollet Avenue. So if you're ever going to shop on Nicollet Avenue, just park in all the single family homes if you can drive, if you're those rare disabled people that can drive, and then just walk to Nicollet Avenue. But because, I'm a disabled person who can't drive, that never really affected me. Because the Nicollet Avenue part that's in downtown Minneapolis, after the George Floyd riots and stuff, kind of died. Because the only part of Nicollet Avenue that really has stores left in downtown Minneapolis is Target, Walgreens, and DGX. And DGX means Dollar General Small. So it's not even a full Dollar General, it's like half a Dollar General. So then in downtown Minneapolis, there wasn't a lot of things to shop at or eat at. So I would take the 18 bus or walk down Nicollet Avenue into South Minneapolis, South Central Minneapolis, and I would shop between downtown and Richfield at all the mom and pop businesses there, because downtown didn't have much because of the riots and the people not going to the offices anymore, and downtown Minneapolis not upgrading. Because if downtown Minneapolis really wanted to save itself, the baby boomers who control downtown Minneapolis will turn all their outdated office buildings into apartments. And then more normal people who actually work full-time jobs and make lots of money, they can rent all those apartments in downtown Minneapolis that used to be office buildings, and then they would actually bring more people to the area, saving the city, downtown area. But, I'm not, the most powerful person in the universe, so I can't control that. But the shocking part is about that whole experience was when you're disabled, you have to report your income to the Social Security office. So I would walk and the Social Security office is in South Central Minneapolis. So I would walk there because it was actually quicker for me walking there than actually taking the bus that went to that neighborhood. So I would walk to that neighborhood to go to drop off my pay stubs at the Social Security office. Because that's a good thing about living downtown Minneapolis is as a disabled person, all the important offices you need are walking like a 10 to 15 minute walking distance away. So I would walk to this place in this Social Security office in South Minneapolis. But the one thing I never prepared for that I had to get used to was all the homeless, all the disabled people living in tents around the Social Security office. Because, if like Social Security is not paying enough to live in an apartment, and you're going to end up homeless, why not camp outside the Social Security office to prove it to them that you need more money because you're homeless? and it's good revenge, because when workers are not giving you enough money, when the Social Security workers are not giving you enough money and to pay rent, even for a $950 basic apartment in downtown Minneapolis or Minneapolis, and every day they see you when they're coming into work sleeping in a tent, staring at them because they refuse to not give you enough money to pay basic rent. Well, that's good karma. So then, I would come and I'll drop off my pay stubs there. And around the Social Security office in South Minneapolis, there's a huge Native American community. It's huge. And so I would go there and I would go to get coffee. I would get Native American coffee. I would go to a Native American shopping mall, and it's full. The Native American shopping mall has the big white cities like Wayzata and stuff call it a wellness center. So what happens is in the shopping mall there's an Aldi's, and then next to the Aldi's there's like a health clinic just for Native Americans that's their specialist. And then next to that, there's a traditional Native American restaurant. And then there's a Native American charter school. And then there's a Native American rehab place because, the clinic just does, oh God, I got a cut or runny nose or whatever. So then they have a rehab place. And then they have a music studio to record traditional music and dances and all that stuff. And then next to that, they're building like a huge embassy. So all the Native American tribes that are part of the big tribe, because there's a big tribe and there's different branches of that big tribe. So then they're building a big embassy there. When I went there after visiting my cousin that lives down there 2 or 3 weeks ago, I went to stop by to look at the big embassy. They're still building it because this tribe has different tribes, little different sections. So all these little sections can meet there, and they can have in South Minneapolis there, and they can have their political debates and state the state politicians can also go there and talk with the Native Americans of the tribe that's building the embassy there. So it's going to be cool. And then the good thing is it's going to bring a lot of money to that area because all the politicians coming in to talk to the Native American tribes that are going to be in that embassy. You mean they're going to come and they're going to spend money at the Native American coffee shop. They're going to spend money at all these. You mean, and it's going to actually bring a lot of money into the Native American community in South Minneapolis. And I just thought that was very, very, very cool that, they're bringing all this money in to that community. And also, if you keep going south along Nicollet Avenue in South Central Minneapolis, you will hit the Midtown Global Market. That's where Nicollet Avenue and Lake Street kind of meet. And it's a big indoor shopping area. It's called Midtown Global Market that has a massive parking ramp there. So you can park there for free, and then you can shop at all the African American businesses in the Midtown Global Market. And then you can also park there for free and shop at all the African, Hispanic, and Somalian American businesses that are on Lake Street. So I'll get to Lake Street later in the podcast, but it was just very, very cool. It was just amazing there. You can get cactus there. You can get traditional African foods and all that, like at the Midtown Global Market. And plus, the parking there is free. So if you're visually impaired or disabled and stuff, and you live in an apartment building in Minneapolis where you in an area that doesn't have good parking, you can meet your family at the Midtown Global Market because the ones that can drive can park in the ramp for the Midtown Global Market for free. And then you can meet them there, and then you guys can eat at all the minority brand businesses on Lake Street, or the African American businesses ran in the Midtown Global Market. So there's plenty of things to do there, and then South Minneapolis has a Burlington coat factory along Lake Street. So if you want cheap clothes and you don't want to buy the clothes from Target, you can go there and you can buy clothes there. That's where it's called Burlington. That's where when I lived in Minneapolis, that downtown Minneapolis, that's where I would go to get clothes if I didn't want to get from Target. And then there's the Target on Lake Street in South Minneapolis. And that Target on Lake Street in South Minneapolis is way better than the Target in downtown. Sometimes it was worth the 15-minute bus ride to go there because it has free guest parking in its surface lot, so it's easy to get into. They have way more clothes options, way more food options. And then because there's a Cub Foods next to it, the Cub Foods I used to go to get my blueberry yogurt and my fruit cocktail. So the good thing was, it was bigger and it had more options. And because there's Cub Foods right next to it, that Target didn't get swamped because half the people that went to that shopping mall, half of them went to Cubs and half of them went to Target, and it split the crowd up. So when you went shopping there, you could easily find the food that you want easier than I'm going to say that it was in downtown. And then the food at that Target was also cheaper because the rent for them to pay to be at that location is cheaper. So then, then they're not putting that price on the food. So then also buying food at that Target was cheaper. So then, you can get more food for your money if you don't want to shop at Cubs. When I went down there, I just shopped at Cubs. But when I wanted clothes, I went to Burlington down there or Target. And then also if I wanted like real Mexican food or Indian food and stuff, I would take the D bus down that goes down Nicollet Avenue all the way down through South Minneapolis, through Richfield into American Boulevard, then to the Mall of America. I would take that D bus and I'll get off at the Midtown Global Market. And then I would go down, then I would walk down Lake Street and I would shop at all the Hispanic, Asian, West African, and Somalian grocery stores along Lake Street. So then I could get some unique tasting foods. And then I would take the D bus sometimes to St. Mary's Grave Cemetery, get off there, and then I would walk around St. Mary's Cemetery to go to a place called Tom's Popcorn. In Tom's Popcorn, when you go there, you want to bring cash, because it's one of those cash businesses that, pretty much take cash. And then I would go there and I would buy popcorn. And how I discovered that is my ex-friend I used to go to with Rogers High School, her name was Madeline. She grew up in South Minneapolis. So when we used to be friends, she used to drive me to that. We used to hang out in South Central Minneapolis all the time. And one of our traditions was to go to, but be lucky she could drive. So I learned South Central Minneapolis by highway before I learned it by the bus route. So then, because she drove. And then, we would go to Tom's Popcorn and then we would get the ice cream there and the popcorn. And then down the street from there, there's also Matt's Bar. And Matt's Bar was the first restaurant ever in Minnesota to make the Juicy Lucy. And but the issue is Matt's Bar is very cramped. It's a very small place because the place is over 100 years old. And when they built the place, they didn't think they'll be one of the most popular restaurants in Minnesota. But the funny is, but if you keep going down Nicollet Avenue, there's another place called the 5-8 Club, and that's on the border of South Central Minneapolis, and Richfield. And the 5-8 Club is way massive because it was built way after Matt's Bar. And it made their own version of the Juicy Lucy that competes against Matt's Bar. But the good thing about the 5-8 Club is they take bank cards, they take credit cards, they take cash. They have a huge parking lot, so not everyone in state Minnesota can go there at once, but a big group of people can go there at once, and there's a lot of space because they built it, and they built it planning to be overwhelmed with people. Well, Matt's did not. So then, the 5-8 Club is pretty good. I have ate at that 5-8 Club a lot of times when I lived in Minneapolis. And then, because when I lived in Minneapolis, downtown Minneapolis, I didn't have a big washer and dryer. I had a 2-in-1. And the 2-in-1s are pain in the butt to do your laundry with. So my 2-in-1 was so small, my wash and dryer built into one, that I could only do 1 day of laundry with it. So, and I could barely fit my jeans, my t-shirt, and my sweater into the machine. So when I wanted to wash my coat and my bedding, that couldn't fit into the machine. So I would go to southwest Minneapolis to a laundromat because this laundromat was the closest one to my apartment. So I would walk down LaSalle Avenue / LaSalle Street, go past the Minneapolis Convention Center, over 94 to go to southwest Minneapolis to a neighborhood called Whittier. And Whittier is where Hennepin County shoves a lot of disabled people that they can't put into a regular apartment building. So Whittier is kind of where Hennepin County shoves the misfit toys. So I would go there and I would do my laundry at the laundromat, and it's like $5 for a wash and $5 for a dry, but they're massive machines, so they're like bigger than like my head, like bigger than my body. Like these machines are so big, you can put my body in there, turn it on high, and I would still have breathing room. So then, so for the price, it was really reasonable. So then I would do all my bedding sheets, my bed sheets, my coats, and all that right at the laundromat. And then after I'm done my laundry, I'd put my clean laundry into my utility cart. And then I would walk across the street to Wendy's, eat Wendy's. And then I would walk back to downtown with my utility cart with my clean clothes, because the bag I bought for my utility cart goes inside my utility cart, and I can take it out. So then but be lucky my bag was small enough that I could wash it at my washer and dryer at my 2-in-1 at my apartment. So what happened was I would do my laundry. Then I would put it in my bag, walk home, and before I did my laundry, I washed my utility bag, so my utility bag is not dirtying up my laundry. So then, and the good thing is the utility bag protected my laundry that was in the utility cart as I'm walking back home. So eventually that utility cart, because I used it for so much things, my groceries, my laundry, it started breaking down. So what happened was I gave it to my friend Cheryl, who lives in a hotel in Bloomington. So, because she's also low income like me, and it's hard for us, when like you're low income, it's hard to find a place that actually, that'll actually accept you for who you are and all that stuff. So I gave it to her. So then she can use it when she's taking the bus to downtown Minneapolis to do her grocery shopping. So then she can buy more food at once because she has a utility cart. And then I bought myself I didn't buy myself another low-end utility cart. I bought myself a mid-quality utility cart. So it's not the worst, but it's not the best either. So I spent around $150 for this utility cart, and it was completely worth it. I thought my cheap one was worth it. This new utility cart was better. It had better wheels. It could hold more weight. It did not break as easily. It was way worth my money. And I loved my utility cart. This new one I got I call it my Walmart cart because I mostly now use it to go to Walmart, and I love it. I wouldn't want to get rid of it for the whole world. So I got this utility cart, and then after I got a bigger utility cart, I didn't have to go shopping once a week because my bigger utility cart could give me more food. So then I could only go shopping like once a month. So then what I would do is I would take the D bus from downtown Minneapolis through Richfield, through South, all the way to American Boulevard in Bloomington. And then I would get off the bus, the D bus, and I would go shopping at the Bloomington Walmart. So then, I would load up because, Walmart has everything. It was a 5-minute bus ride one way to get to the Bloomington Walmart with the D bus that goes down on Nicollet Avenue. But it was a 45-minute bus ride, but it was always totally worth it. Definitely that I had a bigger shopping cart / utility cart. And then I could go and I could grab everything I needed from Walmart. And then I could just hop on the D bus and go back to downtown to go home. And at first, when I first moved to downtown, I thought, cool, I thought I was saving time by going to 3 separate stores to get everything I need. But when I eventually, after I lived in downtown for a while, I was like, no, I'm actually spending more time shopping in downtown, going between 3 grocery stores, than me just hopping on the D bus, going down to the Bloomington Walmart, shopping at the Bloomington Walmart, and then going back home. So it was just less time. So, and then because I got a bigger shopping cart and I got like the middle quality shopping cart, it could actually handle the weight of soda bottles, milk jugs, things that you would actually like want to buy at Walmart. So then, after when I started shopping at Walmart, I didn't hoard as much food because I didn't have to go every week to buy food because I had a bigger shopping cart. And I went to Walmart so I can get everything I need in one shop. And then the reason why I learned about Walmart was because my friend Cheryl, who lives in Bloomington, said, "Why are you going to all these shops when now that you have a bigger shopping cart and you can just go to Walmart?" And she told me where the Walmart was and how to get to the Walmart. And I'm like, and I didn't even know that when I was going to Mall America every day to get to work, I was going by a Walmart. So, because it's kind of hidden behind strip malls and stuff when you're heading towards the mall. So then, I ended up going to Walmart and shopping at Walmart. And then the days I was going to Walmart, if she had off, I would meet my friend Cheryl at Walmart and we would go grocery shopping together. And then we would eat at Subway because I love Subway. And I'm sorry to say is after you're done grocery shopping at Walmart, it feels good eating at Subway. It just does. So then, me and Cheryl will talk about shopping at Walmart and then we would then eat Subway after Walmart. And I had a great time. So then, I would go shopping at Walmart and then hang out with my coworkers at work and work the next day. Mall of America was great when you didn't have to take public transportation there to get to work. And where the people where you didn't kick out were riding with you. So, so it was great. And then in South Minneapolis is this place called the Minneapolis Market. I went there a lot to buy blueberry soda. And then, there's another market I used to go to. It's called Dollar Plus. It's in South Minneapolis off Franklin Avenue. And I would go there because they sold crock pots, pans, and household goods that Target didn't sell. Target sells really nice stuff, but the stuff that the household stuff that Target sells are more towards women. And yes, a pink air fryer will work, right? A pink air fryer will still work, but me as a guy, I don't want a pink air fryer, Target. So that's why I went to Dollar Plus because it was pretty much it was a mom and pop version of Family Dollar or Dollar General. Where things are more expensive than $1, but you can still get things for cheaper than going to a regular store. So then, I went there and it's called Dollar Plus. It was right on Franklin or somewhere near Franklin. I just remember seeing the I remember seeing the Franklin Library while heading there. And I would go there and I'll get crock pots, pans, whatever that were more guyish without going all the way to Walmart. And another place I would buy stuff is if I would only go to Dollar Plus if I couldn't get something at the Salvation Army Family Store. So the Salvation Army Family Store is in the North Loop / the Warehouse District neighborhood, and that's between downtown Minneapolis and North Minneapolis. So it's over by US Bank. Stadium and Target Field Stadium and the Target Center Stadium. So south of it will be US Bank. West and east of it would be Target Center and Target Field. So I would walk there. I would grab my utility cart and I would walk there to the Salvation Army Family Store, and I would go there and I would buy used crock pots, used spoons, used forks, and all that stuff for my apartment. And then whatever I couldn't get there that was guy-ish, I would go to Dollar Plus. And I would get it at Dollar Plus. Because I don't like if those two stores didn't have it, that's when I would go to Target and just get a girly looking one. So because I'm gonna say I don't care if something's pink, but I want to find non-pink items first. If I can't find a non-pink item, that's when I'll go to Target and just buy the pink one. Because Target names mostly things more feminine, because most of the people who shop at their store are female. Like they have just the things they kind of name things are more female sounding names, and that's okay because women need someplace to shop too. So it's just really interesting living in downtown. So I would go to the Salvation Army store, and the Salvation Army store in the North Loop / the Warehouse District neighborhood is different than any other Salvation Army stores that you have ever been into before. Because when you go there, you'll see there's an old apartment building built on top of the store. And that apartment building is actually where they house the homeless. So if you're homeless and you get into the North Loop / the Warehouse District shelter, they will actually house you above the Salvation Army Family Store. So what happens is they kind of make you work for your housing. So what happens is the people who live in that apartment run the store. So in return for their labor, they get discount or free housing above the store. But because I can't drive, I would normally when I donated stuff there like that, because when I moved to downtown, my mom also moved to Florida, so she gave me some things of hers that I didn't need or didn't use or already had, because I bought it by myself. So when I was donating some of the things that she gave me that I didn't need, when you go to that store, there's two big garages that say donation center. Please drive up or walk up. Door will open. So you go in there, and then it opens you up in a giant loading dock. And then what you do is the guy, because I didn't drive, so the guy just wheeled this bucket up to me, and I put the things from my utility cart into the bucket, and then he wheeled away, and I walked out the garage door where the cars were the semi trucks were supposed to leave. And then all the people who did that warehouse and stuff lived in the they're homeless, and they lived in the apartments above the store. And then sometimes I would go into the store. That's the door over, and what happens is there's two parts of the store. There's the Target section and the outlet section. So that store is divided. There's the Target section and the outlet section. So the Target section is whatever doesn't sell at Target. They send to the Salvation Army store, and they sell it to the Salvation Army store at a discount. So the Target section's all brand new stuff that Target just had too much of. And then, you can go in there, you can buy a brand new toaster that's maybe $12 cheaper than it would be at Target, or you can go in there and buy brand new stuff. But but that's on the first floor. But the second floor that's underneath, because it's because when you walk in, the first floor is when you walk in, the second floor is the basement. But when you walk into the second floor, that's called the outlet section. So everything that's donated to the place gets put, like the stuff I donated gets put in the outlet section that's in the basement of the store. So when you go downstairs, you see pans that were donated, tables that were donated, things that are donated. So then that's where I would get my pots, my pans and stuff were down in the donated section, because why should I pay $10 for a pan when I can go to the Salvation Army family store and pay $2 for a pan that no one needed? You mean? So then, I would go down there and sometimes I would buy clothes down there if they were nice and stuff. And before you wear any clothes from that are used, you want to wash them in your washer and dryer, or your washer/dryer. It depends on whatever one you have. So then, when you're wearing them, you're not wearing 100 other people's germs. So I would go to the Salvation Army family store, and I bought half my kitchen gear and half my kitchen stuff came from that store. And then I would go there, and I would buy whatever I needed, and I loaded it up in my utility cart. The one I got, the big one, I call my Walmart cart, so that I can fit more stuff in there. And then I would push it home. And I liked my utility cart because it made shopping because I don't drive, made shopping in downtown Minneapolis so much easier. And then that's where it got that. If you go look at my kitchen today, that's where half my stuff came from. So I really, really liked that store because they're one of those rare Salvation Army family salvation stores. They're actually helping improve homeless people's lives. Because if you go to the one that's 10 minutes away up the street from my house, that's not the one. That's because it takes me 20 minutes to get the one in the North Loop / warehouse district, and it takes me 10 minutes to get to the one north of me. If you go to the one 10 minutes north of me, it's just a regular store where they hire people off the street. Like anyone can apply and work there. While the one in Minneapolis in the North Loop / warehouse district, you have to be proven to be homeless. So then they have you work at the store. So the people who truly work at that store, the one in downtown / North Loop / warehouse district, are people who actually need help. So I sometimes I still take the effort and to go to that store because it's such a unique store. And I like what they're doing. I wish all the Salvation Army family stores were ran like the one in the North Loop / warehouse district, because they would actually help more people. So that store was pretty cool. I really liked going to that store. And I would go to, once in a while on my exploration days, I would go to the Cedarside Riverside neighborhood. That's where the Somalian American community is headquartered. And I wouldn't really shop there because I don't really know the food, and I'm not a bready person. If you want Somalian American food, you have to be more of a bready person, and I'm not a bready person. If it was up to me, I only use bread for hot dogs and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And I use American bread for that because American bread is not as hard like a rock, while their bread is more healthy bread because it doesn't have all the sugar, it doesn't have all the dyes, it doesn't have all the fluffiness to it. So it's actually healthier for you. And it's the bread our ancestors ate. That's why they were not fat. The newer breads, American breads, were all fat because it has all the sugar in it. But the reason why they're skinny and they're eating bread, because their bread is natural bread. So like, to me, I don't mind it being, I don't mind the taste of it. I just don't like how thick and bubbly it is because it's made naturally. And I'm not really a bread person. So, when I go down there, when I went down there, I would normally buy a mandarine smoothie or a tropical smoothie just to support their businesses, because a lot of them in Cedar Riverside are mom and pop businesses. But, I wouldn't really eat I would eat like lamb, sheep, goat, that kind of stuff. But I just hated the breading. Like, so much, they put it so much in breading. So the breading is what fills you up and not the meat and stuff in the bread. So, but the good thing about when I like going to Mexican restaurants or Indian restaurants, they fill you up with rice. So you put the meat and the sauce or the vegetables on top of the rice, and then you eat the rice. So I like rice more than bread. So when I go to Indian or Mexican, when I go there and I'm eating more rice and meat than bread. So, and if I eat a burrito or something, the Mexican bread is like thinner. So then, and when like you bite of it, you're not really tasting it. You're mostly tasting the stuff in the bread. So like, to me, like, the Somalian food that I did try does taste good, but it just has too much breading for me. So when I do go, sometimes I just have to ask them, can you not just bring me the bread? I know half the meal's cost is the bread, but can you please just not bring me the bread? So then I would go down there and I'll try food once in a while. When I'm down there, I'll go to their bakeries, but the issue is their bakeries are really good, but they don't have, like, how in America we have a lot of sugar in our bread, and American bread, and then our donuts have cream, chocolate, or whatever shoved inside. Well, a lot of Somalian bread, the sugar's on the outside of the bread, and then they don't really, and the inside of the bread, it's really healthy. So if like you peel the out, so after I'm eating, so then when I'm eating, I end up catching myself eating the outside first, because that's where my body's attracted to. And then by the time I get to the inside, it tastes like just normal bread. So it's just but the issue is that bread that they're feeding you is actually healthier than eating like American donuts and stuff. But the issue is because it's healthier, I'm not really attracted to it. And I'm also not really attracted to bread. Like, when I buy bread, I wish I could buy like 6 or 4. I wish I could only buy 6 or 4 pieces, because I never need a 12 slice thing of bread. Never. Because if I buy 12, half of it rots and goes away. So I normally pay more and I only get like a 6 or 4 loaf thing of bread. Because 12 is always, to me, too much. So I go to Cedarside, Riverside. I would hang out there. The Longfellow neighborhood has a lot of African American places, like chicken places, burger places. One thing a lot of people don't understand is, like, the white community and the African American community eat similar foods. They like Wendy's. I like Wendy's. They like McDonald's. I like McDonald's. They like pot pies. I like pot pies. They like Chick-fil-A. I like Chick-fil-A. KFC's questionable. They think KFC's questionable. We think KFC's questionable. So me and like when I go into the African American community, like they have like the wheat potatoes, they potatoes, you mean? They eat so much similar foods to us that when I went down there, I could always, and I hung out in the African American community of like Longfellow and stuff down there, I always fit like, cool, I can always find something that I want because they eat similar food to me. And then when I went to when I took Nicollet Avenue down to Lake Street, and then I headed towards Uptown, going along Lake Street. And Uptown is in southwest Minneapolis, and Uptown is a Minneapolis neighborhood that borders with St. Louis Park and Edina. So then, then when I was walking towards Uptown, I get more Hispanic restaurants. And, like from people from South America, Mexico, the Caribbean Sea, you mean? And a lot of their restaurants I like. So then there was plenty of things for me to eat. But then when I get in the heart of Uptown, there's a lot of high-end restaurants there that I never really ate at because they were always too high-end for me to afford. Because that's the Uptown neighborhood is where a lot of rich people in Minneapolis move to. The North Loop in the Warehouse District is kind of like the mid-rich. Downtown Minneapolis and a lot of parts of South Minneapolis are like poor. And then downtown Minneapolis has some mid-poor sections. And then it has some low-income, like middle-class sections. And then you hit like the North Loop that is low-income poor. The North Loop is like low-income rich. Like if you live in the North Loop, you're still richer than a lot of people. Or the Warehouse District, you're still richer than a lot of people. But you're not as rich as the people who live in Uptown. And then comes the Uptown people. They're like, when you live in Uptown and you can afford Uptown, that's when you made it in the city of Minneapolis. And then because Uptown is where the chain of lakes are, so around the lakes you have these big $1 million homes with walking paths and stuff, and then behind those homes you have all the shopping malls and stuff that are in Uptown along Lake Street, and then you have all these high-end apartments that are so tall that they overlook the mansions. So then you can see the lake and stuff. And then some of those views are so good. When higher you go up, higher you can see the lake. Better you can see the lake. And easier you can see, like, I haven't been up there themselves, but I went on YouTube. And you can see some of the views of the people who live there. And their views are, you can see the lake, you can see the mansions, and then you can see all the high-end shops in Edina. And then you can see all the high-end shops in St. Louis Park because you're that high up there. And those apartments, the lower you are, the less you pay in rent because you're getting an uglier view. So Uptown is like a very high-end area. And I would go to Uptown just to look around. I never really shopped in Uptown. I never really ate in Uptown. I would just go out. If I wanted myself to feel bad that day or feel poor, I would go to or just wanted an adventure, see how rich people live like, I would take the 6 bus or the 17 bus to Uptown, and I'd walk around the lakes, walk around the businesses in Uptown, and look at all the high-end stuff in Uptown. And it was like, they have like a Fresh Thyme there. They have a Whole Foods there. They have a Fancy Cubs there. They have a Kowalski's there. Like all the high-end stores. They have like stores. They have mom and pop stores. I don't even know. I don't even remember because they're so high-end. They had like high-end coffee shops, high-end tea shops. They have high-end fitness centers. Like, to me, the highest end in my head is Lifetime or LA Fitness. No, a lot of the fitness centers in Uptown are even more high end than LA Fitness and Lifetime. They're even more high end than that. They have high-end barber shops, high-end hair salons. Number barber shops are haircut places for men. So when you're reading on Google Maps, you want to look for, if you're a guy, you want to look for barber shop. If like you're a woman, you want to look for salon. If you're a kid, you want to look for a haircut place, because a haircut place is for kids, a barber shop is for men, and a salon is for women. So they have high-end barber shops, they have high-end salons, they have high-end haircut places for kids. They have a high-end bike store that lets you drink coffee while like you're looking at bikes. It's very high-end there. So when I wanted to feel poor or wanted to go outside and walk where I knew was safe, I would take the 17 or the 6 bus. The 17 bus takes you from the U of M through downtown to St. Louis Park, and the 6 bucks takes you from U of M through downtown to Edina to the Southdale Mall, high-end mall, and then and they both go to the Uptown neighborhood. So then I would go to Uptown and I would hang out in the Uptown area. And I would just do it to get outside. And then when I went to my eye doctor, because I'm low vision, my eye specialist is on the U of M campus. So then I would take the Green Line train, the 6 bus or the 17 bus when I lived in downtown to the U of M campus. And then from there, I would walk through the frat houses to my eye doctor. So, in walking through the frat houses was always interesting, because like even on a Wednesday after 3 p.m. or Thursday after 3 p.m. or Friday, whatever, no matter what day, Monday through Friday, after 3 p.m., there's always some kind of party at a frat house. It's always a different it's always a different frat house. But every time I was walking through there, there's always some kind of party. No matter what kind of day it is or what time of day it is, there's always a party. And then definitely when I went to my eye appointments and stuff and doctor's appointments, because my doctor and all that is on the U of M too. Because when my parents moved down to Florida and I moved to downtown, I put all my doctors, dentists, everything I can at the University of Minnesota, because when I lived in downtown, you're so close. It's only like a 10-minute train or bus ride there, and you can have all the best care right there. So like no matter when I had appointments on a Friday night after like 3, a Saturday or a Sunday, you would hear boom, 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 boom through the neighborhood. And that's because of all the frat houses having their huge parties. And then, and I don't care. I'm actually one of those people, like, hey, as long as they're being responsible and they're not destroying the house, they're not having unprotected sex, they're not drinking, they're not doing no drugs, as long as they're having a responsible frat party, I honestly don't care. They don't bother me. Like, I have a big apartment building like 2 blocks away from me by my condo here in Columbia Heights. And because a lot of the rents there between $750 to $850 a month, for a 450 square feet unit, and because it's so cheap and we're so close to the U of M here in Columbia Heights, if like you drive, that a lot of students will come live here instead of the U of M. So on the weekends, you'll hear boom, 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 boom when you go outside. But to me, that doesn't really bother me, because as long as they're not destroying the city of Columbia Heights and they're not destroying the apartment building, let them drink and have their fun. that's how I feel about it. But a lot of the older people in my neighborhood feel differently about it. But maybe because I'm 27, that doesn't bother me yet. But I'm like, just let them party, because you want them destroying the city and stealing and speed racing, or you want them getting drunk in their apartment building and listening to loud music. Pick your evil. I'd rather have them listening to loud rap music and partying in the apartment building than having them do stupid crimes and stupid shit to entertain themselves. So it was just very, very, very interesting. Northeast Minneapolis and Southeast Minneapolis, they're both part of U of M campus. And in that area is just very, very, very interesting. So every time I would go to an appointment over there, or a doctor's appointment over there, go see my friend Trina that lives over there. Every time I go over there, there's some kind of adventure with the frat houses, the college students, some kind of football game, some kind of soccer game, some kind of hockey game. There's always something to do. So if you're living in downtown Minneapolis and you're bored as fuck, just hop on the Green Line train, or hop on the 6 bus, or hop on the 17 bus in downtown, and just go to the U of M campus and just walk around, and on a Friday night or Saturday or Sunday, and there's always something going on. There's always college kids walking up around the neighborhood, gossiping as they're walking, or there's always something for you. Like a lot of times when I was downtown and I didn't want to spend money, I was short money that month because Mall of America did not schedule me as much hours, and because I did not get scheduled as much hours because the mall was slower that month, I didn't get as much money. So the months I was more broke, those days off, I would go to Northeast and Southeast Minneapolis and around the U of M, and I would just walk around and watch people be fun college students for free. It was a very cool thing, and I really, really liked going over there, because to me, hanging around college students, I know I'm like 20, at that time I was 25 years old, but a lot of people go to the U of M for school when they start at 18 years old until they're 32. Because a lot of students, they want to get their master's or they want to get their doctor's degree. And if you start right away when like you're 18 to 19 years old, by the time you're done with it, you're like 28 to 30. So at that time I was like, right now I'm 27. So like when I hang out around there, a lot of the freshmen and stuff, or people just getting their associate's or bachelor's degree, just assume I'm an older U of M student getting my master's or my doctor's. So there's a lot of young, as I get older, eventually they'll probably think I'm the college professor or something. But I'm still at the age where I can pass as a University of Minnesota student. Because sometimes after I'm done leaving my doctor's appointment or eye appointment, I get invited I'm walking by some of the parties, because the sidewalk goes right next to the frat houses where the parties are. And I'm walking by, and sometimes I'm offered to go to the frat parties. And I said, no, thank you. I have to go to work. And I just lie, And then sometimes I'm okay, professor, have a good day. Or sometimes they'll say that, or sometimes say, well, bud, have a good day, or whatever. It depends on the age of the groups. If it's more the younger people, they think I'm a college professor. But if it's the older people, they just know that I'm just a guy hanging out in the neighborhood. So, and then sometimes when I'm walking around there, a lot of them, they'll come to me because I look like I look like I'm an adult. And they ask me where things are, and be lucky I'm over there enough where I kind of know where things are, and I can point them in a general direction. Because once you're at the U of M campus, there's so many things around you, and there's so many congestion. It gets overwhelming, even with the GPS, if you don't know where you're going. Because that Dinkytown neighborhood, there's like taking hundreds and hundreds of young people between 18 and 35 years old and shoving them in tuna cans. Because that area, like that area has so many young people like living around it in these old brick apartment buildings and these old brick dorms, that because each unit's probably having 5 or 6 people living in them, splitting the bill. And there's so many units in there that, it's like the U of M is like the queen ant, and all the people that live around her are her thousands of workers. And the workers bring her money and money and money. Instead of bringing her food, her workers bring her money. So, and that's how she eats. She eats the cash instead of food. So it's just, and it's just, that area has so much students and stuff. There's always something going on. Even now, when I live in Columbia Heights, by car, I'm only like 10 minutes north from the U of M campus. By bus, that's about 30 minutes. So I normally take the 10, get off at the 3rd Ave, get off in downtown, hop on the 6 or hop on the 17 or hop on the Green Line train, whatever comes first. And then I normally go to U of M and party. That's where I do my partying. I don't do partying in downtown Minneapolis anymore along Nicollet Avenue because it's becoming too unsafe, because you get all the drunks, the addicts and stuff that go out there partying on a Tuesday or partying on a Wednesday or even the weekend. And then after they're done drinking stuff and they're kicked out, they start fights on Hennepin Avenue. So Hennepin Avenue is not really a safe place to party anymore, in my opinion. If you want to party, you want to go to Northeast and Southeast Minneapolis because, yes, there's not really, the clubs there are a little bit more tame according to, compared to Hennepin Avenue. But do you want to have a tame club and go home with no bullet holes in your body? Or do you want to go to Hennepin Avenue, go to a better club, and might leaving the club going towards home with bullet holes in your body? So when I party in Minneapolis, I normally party with the college students in like Northeast or Southeast Minneapolis along University Avenue, because the college students, yes, a lot of them are dumb, but when they get in fights and stuff, they normally don't bring guns with them. The ones along Hennepin Avenue in downtown, those guys are idiots and they bring guns with them. And their fighting comes more trigger shooting. Well, the college kids, they're so broke that they can't even afford the gun to buy to shoot people in an argument. So a lot of the clubs in Northeast and Southeast Minneapolis along University Avenue they're full of poor people like me, because they're in debt with the school loans, or they're in debt because of the high rent costs. They're in debt for some kind of reason. So when I go party down there, I can relate to those people because those people are like me and the area is way safer. And then the U of M has cops over there. And then the city of Minneapolis puts a lot of police over there to protect the young people, because if the parents hear their kids are getting shot at while they're going to school, parents are not going to send their kids to school there anymore. So they keep Southeast and Northeast Minneapolis pretty safe. And then the Columbia Heights police also help that area. And the St. Anthony police help that area. And the St. Paul police help that area when they need it. So it's a very secure area. The Northeast and Southeast Minneapolis, a lot of the apartments look very, very old. It's like, how can this legally still be standing? But once you go into them, they're very nice apartments. Like, I would tell U of M students to actually live in the apartments off campus that are around campus than paying and live a better lifestyle than paying for the overpriced apartments that the college provides. Because, guys, if you guys come here to Columbia Heights and live off University or live off Central, you guys can pay half the rent that you would be if you lived on the U of M campus. And then you can just take a 15-minute drive down University or down Central and be at the campus. And then because you're a student, you get to park at the University of Minnesota for free. And then park there for free and just drive back to Columbia Heights to live. Or St. Anthony's also another place for you guys to live. But St. Anthony doesn't have a lot of old apartments, and a lot of their apartments are new, so they're going to be a little bit more expensive. But here in Columbia Heights, we have a lot of old apartments, so the rents are going to be cheaper. So yeah, guys, so just come here to Columbia Heights, just bus to school or drive to school. Just come up here. Come spend your money, party in Columbia Heights. Come up here. Columbia Heights, we have free parking. We have behind let me think, what's that restaurant? Behind the strip mall, there's like a huge parking ramp. You'll see like a haircut place and all that stuff. There's in the pool, and there's also a pool hall there. There's a huge free parking ramp back there where people can park and party in downtown Columbia Heights. And then the City Hall building, underneath the City Hall, there's also free parking beneath the City Hall. And then, so when you're coming to party in downtown Columbia Heights, if you're a college U of M student and you want to live here, there's like 2 free massive places to park. So you can drive, park, party, and drive home responsibly. Remember, drink and party responsibly. If you're going to drive home, if you're going to walk home or bike home, drink as much as you want. But yeah, so Minneapolis, I have like mixed feelings about. I really liked living there. No crime. I really actually liked living there. The really part that sucked was when I got an apartment along the Skyway, I actually thought I would be using the Skyway, but the issue, because the Skyway is only open from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., by the time I woke up, went to work, came back home, the Skyway system was closed, so I could never really enjoy it. And the only time I really got to enjoy it when I was living there was 5 times. Because the Skyways are not open during the weekend. And I was working so much at the Mall of America that when I finally got that one day off, I'm like, cool, I don't need to do anything today, and I don't feel like I want to bus anywhere today. I'm just taking the Skyway. So then I actually spent more time in South Minneapolis and North Minneapolis in the U of M campus in Northeast and Southeast Minneapolis than I did enjoying the Skyway system that I was paying so much money to be connected to. And also, by the time I moved in, a lot of the Skyway restaurants and stores were dead because now people can work from home, and then baby boomers are too lazy to convert office buildings into apartment buildings and save the city of Minneapolis. So that was also a very interesting experience. And if my mom did not offer me to help me buy a condo in Columbia Heights, I would still be living downtown. If, my mom didn't come up to me and say, hey, Dustin, I'll get you out of downtown Minneapolis and help you get into Columbia Heights and get you in a condo, if my mom didn't offer me that, I would still be living in downtown because I liked it. But for what I was getting, it wasn't worth the price. If I would have stayed in Minneapolis, I would probably went to South Minneapolis because for what I was getting, it would be cheaper just living in South Minneapolis, having more space for the money and having access to more retail stores than I was getting in downtown Minneapolis. So if my mom did not help me get a condo here in Columbia Heights, I would probably stayed in Minneapolis, but I would probably move to South Minneapolis and lived along Hennepin Avenue or Nicollet Avenue. That's the places I would have probably moved to. But my mom wanted me in the suburbs. So when where I can still get good public transportation, but be in the suburbs. So when your mom offers you to help you buy a condo, you be a smart boy and you say yes. So that's how I ended up in Columbia Heights, and And me and my mom, before we bought this place, we went to every first ring suburb that like we could with the public transportation. So I knew how I'd be getting around. And out of all the first ring suburbs, I liked Columbia Heights the best because I can still get out to Blaine. I can shop at the Northtown Mall. I can still get to downtown Minneapolis and get anywhere I need. And then I can get out to St. Anthony and I can get to Roseville. And then once I'm in Roseville, I can take a bus to downtown St. Paul. So if I don't want to go into downtown Minneapolis to do it. So I chose a good suburb when my mom offered to help me get a condo that I can still get to everything I need, but it just takes time. But when you're disabled in Minnesota and you need to take public transportation, everything takes time, but at least you can get there. That's the only thing I really care about. Can I get someplace? Well, guys, I hope you have a good day. Thank you for listening to this podcast episode. Please share it with your friends. And I prefer you guys listening to this on YouTube because I can track the metrics better there. But if you don't pay for YouTube Premium, listening to it on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or any other podcast player of your choice also works good with me. And remember, if you like my podcast, please share it on your Facebook feeds, your Twitter feeds, and take a picture of it and share it on your Instagram feeds so then people actually will come and listen more to the show. I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.